BlackRock spot Ethereum ETF bought 40,660 Ethereum worth $98 million just yesterday, while the rest sold. Which again is so interesting to see smart money accumulating yet again right in front of us. BlackRock has been, pretty much buying, Ethereum quite heavily over the course of the last, few weeks. Do they know something that we don't? Now, again, we need to understand we're about to, close out the month of June, which of course wraps up the first half of the year. We're entering the second half of the year, and of course, a lot of analysts are projecting, the second half of the year to be exciting for altcoins specifically. And of course, that brings in the question whether or not, Ethereum is being accumulated quite heavily by the likes of BlackRock due to that fact. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP holders. We've got a lot to discuss. If you're liking these videos, hit that red subscribe button. So as we are going into Wednesday morning, you're starting to see over the last 1 hour pretty much the market picking up. Pretty much since the start of the week, we're still seeing quite a bit of green across the board. Yes, we did see a little bit of a minor pullback over the last 3 to 4 hours, but in a grand scheme of things, we are still looking really, really good for the broader market. But if you're looking at XRP right now, we're currently sitting at $2.18, only down about 1% in Bitcoin and Ethereum comparative. Sorry, in Bitcoin and USD comparative. Valuation sitting at about 128.7 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $2.7 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So CME posted this, XRP futures 1 month recap, and this is from the futures. So you can see since launching on May 19th, XRP and micro XRP futures have shown demand across institutional and retail participants, highlighting interest in regulated tools to access one of the most watched crypto assets. And, we're just talking about futures. Imagine once, the ETF comes into play, I personally think, this is going to be much higher than what we're seeing. And speaking about ETFs, as we know, 3iQ launched their XRP spot ETF in Canada. And now if you watch on YouTube, you're starting to notice there's advertisements coming in about that. They're pretty much advertising that quite a bit. So that really shows you people that are in Canada that now want exposure, into, XRP and don't really like self-custody, or aren't familiar with the crypto space. This is where the ETF comes and changes the game. Now people can literally buy XRP easily if they are in Canada. So shout out to the Canadians out there. Love you guys. You guys are amazing. Sure, you guys are pretty much thrilled, especially if you've been waiting for about this for quite some time, and it's been a long time coming. But look at this, 24.6 thousand plus contracts traded, and we're talking about in just 1 month, and about 542.8 million notional volume and 45% volume from outside the US, which again is quite a large percentage, which is something that we need to keep in mind as well. But moving forward, ISO 20022 will make it easier for crypto to be adopted by traditional financial institution. As we know, banks got that clarity. They got that green light. They can start, taking part of, crypto. Within the crypto activities, offering, crypto to their clientele and services. And I think this is the biggest green light that we have gotten in years, to be honest. Jerome Powell did come out and say, and pretty much giving, the banks that green light, which really gives us a better understanding, how revolutionary and historical this moment really is for the entire space, especially as a, OG. Of course, I haven't been in crypto pretty much since, 2011, 2012, but I still consider myself an OG because I did, come into crypto in 2016. And these are times people used to dream of. And now we're really seeing things happening. And of course, ISO 20022, the messaging standard, this does help. I totally agree with Smoke. It makes it easier for crypto to be adopted. As we know, XRP Ledger is, ISO compliant. So that would be, amazing, and that could really put Ripple at the forefront, when it comes to, financial institutions, using their services. So you could see, in conclusion, the upgrade of Swift's payment system to ISO standard will have far-reaching implications for banking, crypto, and digital currency markets. The move towards a more standardized financial systems will likely pave the way for greater adoption and growth in crypto and digital currency markets. And we're not talking about just from retail. We're talking about from the bigger players. That is quite interesting to note. But now you're starting to see the 1,700 NDAs being talked about so much, and I really wanted to kind of talk about what Ripple Van says. So 1,700 NDAs doesn't mean hype. It means serious builders are cooking. Real partnerships, real integrations, real money on the line. And I could not agree more, because of course, if there are that many NDAs that they have signed, there could be something in the pipelines that is quite massive. Of course, over time we might hear about that, but very, very interesting to note. And now more and more people are starting to talk about these NDAs. What really is going on? What don't we know? And of course, as we know, one of the developers that came out yesterday after I think 12, 13 years on Twitter for the first time in such a long time, tweeted, which got a lot of people speculating, is there something that he knows, or is there something that is about to be announced? The reason why he has become active all of a sudden on Twitter. Obviously there were speculations going on whether or not, his account has been hacked, but it has been confirmed that, the account indeed was not hacked. It is indeed himself. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at this. Nate says, let's see who met with SEC Crypto Task Force today to discuss the tokenized equities. The New York Stock Exchange. Don't think people fully appreciate how fast this is all moving. This is what I've been saying. This is exactly what I've been saying. We don't understand how fast things are moving. People focus more on, what's happening with the price right now? The price is not going. And yet, the price, as far as XRP is concerned, still maintaining its price pretty much since November within the 38.2 fib zone, which is what a lot of people overlook. But on this channel, I don't care if I have to say it a million times, I'll say it. This is something that you don't want to be ignoring. It has held its ground quite nicely, and I really do believe, in my personal opinion, the next leg up is going to shock a lot of people. Moving forward, take a look at this. Fedwire settles over 1 quadrillion per year. That's 15 zeros, and 1,000x bigger than 1 trillion. Volatile and Finstra, both Ripple partners, are key tech providers for Fedwire. Ripple plus XRP and Fedwire plus quadrillions. You can really see who Ripple's partnered with here. Some big industry leaders, and we're not talking about small money that is being transacted. We're talking about, forget about trillions, quadrillion per year. And that really tells you where Ripple is setting itself up in terms of, collaboration. And, speaking about collaboration, take a look at this huge news. The ECB's official doc reveals XRP Ledger as the tech backbone for Xology DLT. XRP is powering the future of finance. Now, let's take a look at what's happening with the price right now. Briefly go over what's happening with the price. So dominance has picked up over the course of the last few hours. BTC, on the other hand, did get rejected at that level. Your boy Crypto ZX has pretty much been talking to you guys about it at 186,800. We literally, guys, you can't make this up. I am really, really impressed. I don't know why, because we've seen the importance of this, but I really want to just tell you guys, pause the video if you want to kind of go back in my other updates and really see this. I was talking to you guys about the 106,800 key range. We literally touched right at the neckline, got rejected. That tells you everything you need to know as to how important that level really is. So as of now, Bitcoin is looking amazing right now. We are pretty much pushing back up towards the upside. If we're able to get back above that range, pretty much opens the door for us to, start retesting the 109 to even $110,000. As far as the XRP is concerned, currently sitting at $2.19, still holding really good. I really want to see the price of XRP pushing up to the $2.30. We want to break out of that, which pretty much opens the door to the 23.6 as stated before. But let me know down below what you guys think about all of this. Where do you see the price of XRP closing the year of 2025? Love you guys. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.